Ever wonder what the future holds, like for you specifically?
Yeah, who hasn't?
Well, today we're going deep on that question, diving into Max Tegmark's Life 3.0.
Oh, that book's a wild ride. Really makes you rethink, like, everything.
Right. Intelligence, evolution, even what it means to be human.
Absolutely.
Tegmark starts with this really big, kind of out there idea. What if the entire universe becoming self-aware, that's the point of it all?
It's like he takes intelligent life and just zooms way out, cosmic perspective.
Totally. And he walks us through, what, billions of years? From the Big Bang getting more and more complex.
Atoms to stars, stars to galaxies, and eventually, boom, life.
But then he takes it even further, which I love. Divides life into these categories, like 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0.
Right, different levels of, like, how much control something has over its own destiny.
Okay, so explain it, because this was new for me.
He uses this hardware-software analogy. Imagine bacteria, right? That's life 1.0. Their hardwares, their body, their softwares, like their instincts, DNA. Can't change much within a lifetime.
So they're stuck with what they've got, basically. Where do mushrooms fall on that? Always wondered.
Still life 1.0. Fascinating how they spread and adapt. But the core stuff, pretty fixed. He's looking more at, can something redesign itself?
Gotcha, makes sense. So we're not bacteria, thankfully, so where do humans fit in?
We're life 2.0. We get the hardware, our bodies, through evolution, but the software, that's what we get to play.
Okay, I like this already.
Every skill you learn, every book you read, you're basically upgrading your operating system. We're the programmers of ourselves.
Whoa, that is cool. So we've got 1.0 kind of fixed, 2.0 we're figuring it out. What's 3.0 then?
This is where it gets really mind-blowing. Life 3.0 designs both its hardware and software, no longer limited by biology. And Tegmark thinks AI, artificial intelligence, that's our path to get there.
AI designing itself. Okay, now we're in the future. But hold on, that raises some big questions. What happens when machines can think for themselves? Outsmart us, even.
You're hitting on it. It's not just some far-off tech thing. It's a fundamental shift in who's the most intelligent on this planet. Gets a little unnerving there.
Right, like how do we even prepare for that, sharing the planet with something potentially smarter than us?
Well, there's where the debate gets really heated. Tegmark doesn't shy away. He brings in all these different viewpoints on AI. Some super optimistic, others a bit more cautious, we'll say.
Classic optimist versus realist. Okay, break it down for us. Who are the big voices in this, and what are they saying?
So you've got your digital utopians who are like, AI is going to fix everything. Larry Page, Google, he's in that camp. They think it's the key to solving poverty, disease, climate change, the whole shebang.
AI as like this benevolent force for good.
Exactly. Helping us reach our full potential, maybe even become like a multi-planetary species.
Okay, that's a pretty optimistic outlook. Hard to argue with wanting to solve all those problems, though. But not everyone's buying it, right? Where do the skeptics come in?
Right, they're saying, hold on a minute, creating something potentially smarter than us, that comes with risks, big ones, maybe bigger than we realize.
Like the whole Pandora's box thing, right?
Exactly. We might not like what we find. Some worry about, the classic AI takes over scenario.
Yeah, seen enough sci-fi for that.
Yeah.
Terminator or much.
Right. But even without going full Hollywood, you've got to think about misuse. Autonomous weapons, surveillance, stuff that erodes our freedom.
So not even AI being evil, just humans being.
Yeah.
Humans with really powerful tools.
And even then, what if the AI develops its own goals? Ones that don't match up with ours, even if we don't program that in.
Okay, now that is a scary thought.
Tegmark talks about value alignment, which is basically how do we make sure AI wants what's good for us, morally, ethically, especially as it gets smarter, able to make its own decisions.
Right, because we can't just assume it'll share our sense of right and wrong. So what's the answer? How do we make sure we're not fighting our own creations down the line?
$1 million question. And the cool thing is, Tegmark's not just pointing out the problem, he's trying to solve it.
Okay, good. So he's not just an armchair philosopher, he's actually doing something. Tell me more about that. What's he up to?
So he co-founded this group, the Future of Life Institute, FLI. Scientists, entrepreneurs, even Elon Musk is involved. They're all about making sure AI is beneficial for humanity.
Wow. Okay, that's a heavy-hitting group. What are they actually, doing?
Bunch of stuff. Research, for one.
Yeah.
Funding studies on AI safety, the long-term impact on society, how to design AI that shares our values.
So trying to get ahead of the game before we're in too deep.
Exactly. Plus, they're working with policymakers, trying to influence regulations and guidelines for how AI gets developed.
Putting up those ethical guardrails, you might say.
Yeah, because their whole thing is we can't just hope for the best. Got to be proactive now, have those hard conversations, or it'll be too late later.
This is all so important, but man, it's also kind of overwhelming. Where do we even begin to wrap our heads around all this? The future of intelligence, ethics, like everything's changing.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We're not alone in this.
Right. It's not all on FLI or Max Tegmark. We all have a part to play.
Totally. And that's what I love about Life 3.0.
Yeah.
It's not just for tech people. It's for everyone. This is a conversation the whole world needs to be having. Because the future of AI, it's not being decided in some lab somewhere. It's being decided by all of us.
So we're not just passengers on this ride. What can we do, though? Like, practically speaking, how do we prepare for a future where AI is everywhere? Can't all become coders overnight. It's not like we can all become coders overnight. So what can we do to prepare for this future?
Right. It's a big question for sure. And the thing is, anytime there's been a huge technological shift, there's been that fear, right? Like,
Yeah.
what does it mean for us?
Totally. Like, imagine when the printing press was invented, people were probably freaking out. That's it. Storytelling's over. Everyone's out of a job.
Exactly. But what happened? We learned to read. New forms of art popped up. We adapted. And I think, honestly, it's going to be the same with AI.
Okay, so less doom and gloom, more like embracing the possibilities. But how do we actually, like, future-proof ourselves as individuals? That's got to be on everyone's mind.
And here's something Tegmark says that I think is really important. Even with all our fancy tech, we still don't fully get our own intelligence. Like, consciousness itself is still a mystery.
So you're saying instead of trying to outthink the machines, we should focus on what makes us human?
Exactly. Creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, empathy, those are the things AI struggles with. And as it gets more powerful, those human skills, that's what's going to matter more and more.
So being able to work together, communicate, think outside the box, not competing with AI, but like being good partners with it almost.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe by understanding ourselves better, really getting good at being human, that'll help us steer AI in a positive direction. We could even learn a thing or two about ourselves along the way.
Now that's a nice thought. So to wrap up this deep dive into Life 3.0, what's the one big thing you hope listeners take away from it all?
I think it's this. The future's not set in stone. We have a say in this whole AI thing. It's not some inevitable thing just happening to us. We've got to engage with it, ask the hard questions, but also remember what makes us human, you know? That's how we make sure AI is a good thing for everybody.
That is a great note to end on. Thank you to everyone listening for joining us on this wild ride through the future of, well, everything, basically.
It's been a blast.
Until next time, stay curious out there.